Yay! It's a show time. This is my regular live streaming on Wednesday night at 10:30 at my
Japanese
regular
time.
live streaming on
Whoa.
Wednesday night at 10:30
Sorry.
at my regular.
Mute. That's an accident. Sorry about that. Whoop. Okay. Yeah. Now start all over again. Yeah. This is Utako Shibatsuji Parent. I'm a Japanese artist, mother of 2 children, and president of MUNI company. The company is provide artist artwork, myself and my husband, and also we run an artist run space, MERD, in Fuchu, which is a outskirt suburb of Tokyo. It's like almost 1 hour from the central Tokyo. Yeah, it's quite Fuchu is quite old town. The history of Fuchu is way much before compared to Tokyo, Edo. So this town exists from like 1900 years, and then it has a very beautiful temple in front of the Fuchu station. And my house is 10 minutes away from that beautiful temple, and we have a horse race course just nearby us. But at the moment, people cannot come to the race course, so it's been rather quiet. But at the same time, it's a quite a kind of popular residential area, so there is quite a lot of nice new residents and neighbors. Anyway, every fourth Wednesday, I'm trying to broadcast in English to test my English still okay. And also, I'd like to restart my career as a voiceover artist, which I gave up, which I don't really have to give up. At the age of 20, I was in an art university in Tokyo. It's called Musashino Art University, which is also in a suburb of Tokyo. And then I was majoring in the imaging art, which include animation, film, video, photography, etc. And during I was also attending taking a voice over artist training course in central Tokyo, and I was quite a promising student, but I gave up. The reason is I felt I wasn't serious enough to become a voiceover artist, which is kind of popular job because people, like in Japan, a lot of people like to see animation, and I loved animation when I was teenager, when I was like 10 years old until 14. I was very into animation, so that was my first dream to work, to have my career, to have develop my career as a voiceover artist. Then even though I took the class to become the professional, I realized there is a loads of other people who is seriously doing and learning acting and so on, just acting alone, seriously. And then yeah, I felt I wasn't serious enough, and then I felt that's very rude to those other people who is seriously wants to become a voiceover artist or actors. But yeah, I never know whether they were actually serious or not. That's my own impression. And then yeah, I gave up because it wasn't serious, I thought. But at the same time, another reason was I thought I would be it's kind of maybe common thing, but I didn't want to be sexualized. I just wanted to work as a animator, to work for some kind of fancy characters, like those probably my artworks. But at that time, even early 2000, it's kind of getting popular. Even the voiceover artist has to look good, and then the female voiceover artist has to behave, has to be in front of the people to shake hands, or maybe even do the singing concert, and then become like a kind of pop icon, pop idols and stuff, which I didn't want to do that stuff, become an idol. That's another reason. And then yeah, maybe if I look back, the second reason that I didn't want to be sexualized will be actually the major reason that I didn't want to pursue to be a voiceover artist seriously. But at the same time, I was making my own film, so especially animation. So I just thought that I can just be one, just be the cast, become as a cast of my own artwork, my own animated film, which I did quite a lot of times. I kind of, some of my works, animated short films, are on my YouTube channel, but I haven't really, which I uploaded very like a long time ago, like 15 years ago, something like that. And then at the time, SNS isn't as big as now. The YouTube wasn't the profit base at the time. So yeah, I was kind of too early to do YouTube at that time. Anyhow, yeah, the reason for the purpose of this tonight's broadcast is I want to read out aloud some poetry by Lewis Carroll, the famous British author of the Alice in Wonderland. And today I'd like to read the poem Jabberwocky, which is a very bizarre nonsense poem, English. Probably some British people would read it in a class, because one of my friends who I shared a room, no, the flat, when I was in college, she could recite this Jabberwocky, and then I didn't understand anything, and then it didn't sound very weird. But anyway, it's a nonsense poetry, and then Lewis Carroll used a lot of words which is doesn't exist in the real world. So I practiced a little bit before this broadcast, but I'm not practiced well enough. So probably I cannot read it through very well. But I have quite a lot of time to do this. And then it's quite short. I can read it in like 2 minutes. So here we go. I just try it. Okay. Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas breeding and the slithy toves did gwire and glim and wob. All mimsy were the borogoves and the mom wrath outgrab. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jab bird and the shum, the fremiest buttersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manxome for he thought. So rested he by the somthom tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in wish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burgled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the wolf parade was sneak-a-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went grumping back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, frabjous jay! Kalua, Kale! He chortled in his joy. Thus breeding and the slithy toves did squire and grim in a wave. All mimsy were borogoves, and the mom wrath outgrave. That's all. That's finished. Yeah, it's quite short, and that doesn't make much of sense. Someone read this poem and the story of that's Alice. That's not an Alice in Wonderland. Alice and looking through something. And then after this poem, it goes, "It seems very pretty," she said, when she had finished it, "but it's rather hard to understand. You see, she didn't like to confess ever to herself that she couldn't make it out at all. Somehow it seems to fill my head with ideas, only I don't exactly know what they are. However, somebody killed something. That's clear, at any rate." Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, it's a nonsense. Yeah, and a very challenge. I think I'm a very stupid to pick this poem as a first try of the English readout. But okay, challenge goes on. I'll go for that this second time. Jabberwocky. Twas breathing and slightly toves, did gwire and gremru and a wave. All mimsy were burglars, and the mom rough outgrave. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jub bird and shum, the frumiest bantersnatch. He took his warper sword in hand. Long time the maxim for he saw. So rested he by the tom-tom tree and stood a while in thought. And as in a fish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came wafting through the turgid wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, the vapor raid went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went garumphing back, and hustled, slang the Jabberwock. Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, fragilous day! Callooh, Calais! He chortled in his joy. Whispering and slightly toes, did Gwire and Grimble in a wave. All mimsy were wardrobes, and the mom laughs outraged. Yeah, that's all. That's the Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. Through the looking glass. Yeah, it's 18 minutes finished after since I started this live streaming, and I don't know what to say. In fact, but someone very kind is watching, so I should carry on probably, or maybe I read from the beginning of this book through the. That's a long title, in fact, but it doesn't say in this iBook. Through the glass, through the looking glass. Chapter 1, Looking Glass House. One thing was certain, that White Kitten had had nothing to do with it. It was the Black Kitten's fault entirely. For the White Kitten had been having its face washed by the old cat for the last quarter of an hour, and bearing it pretty well, considering. So you see that it couldn't have had any hand in the mischief. The way Dinah washed her children's faces was this. First, she held the poor thing down in its ear with one paw, then, with the other paw, she rubbed its face all over the wrong way, beginning at the nose. And just now, as I said, she was hard at work on a white kitten, which was lying quite still and trying to purr, no doubt feeling that it was all meant for its good. But the black kitten had been finished with earlier in the afternoon, and so, while Alice was sitting curled up in a corner of the great armchair, half talking to herself and half asleep, the kitten had been having a grand game of romps with the ball of worsted Alice had been trying to wind up, and had been rolling it up and down till it had all come undone again. And there it was, spread over the hearth rug, all knot and tangled, with the kitten running after its own tail in the middle. "Oh, you wicked little thing!" cried Alice, catching up the kitten and giving it a little kiss to make it understand that it was in disgrace. "Really? Dinah ought to have taught you better manners. You ought, Dinah. You know you ought," she added, looking reproachfully at the old cat, and speaking it as across a voice as she could manage. And then she crumbled back into the armchair, taking the kitten and the worsted with her, and began winding up the ball again. But she didn't get on very fast, as she was talking to all the time, sometimes to the kitten and sometimes to herself. Kitty sat very demurely on her knee, pretending to watch the progress of the winding, and now and then putting out one paw and gently touching the ball, as if it would be glad to help if it might. "Do you know what tomorrow is, Kitty?" Alice began. "You'd have guessed if you'd been up in the window with me, only Dinah was making you tidy, so you couldn't. I was watching the boys getting its sticks for the bonfire, and it wants plenty of sticks, Kitty. Only it got so cold and it snowed so they had to leave off. Never mind, Kitty. We'll go and see the bonfire tomorrow." Here Alice, with 2 or 3 turns of the worsted round the kitten's neck, just to see how it would look. This led to a scramble in which the ball rolled down upon the floor, and yards of it got unwound again. That's maybe that's it. I've finished here. Yeah, that's the first chapter, the very beginning. Okay. Maybe for the last time, I'll read a Jabberwocky again. Maybe I should read from here. Yeah, that's the final time. Jabberwocky. was reading the slithy toes did gwire and grumble in the wave. All mimsy were horrors, and the mom rough outgrave. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the crows that catch. Beware the Jub bird and Shum, the frumious butterscotch. He took his bowper sword in hand, long time in a maxim for, he thought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in a fish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tangled wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, and through. The whopper blade went snick-a-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went grumping back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, frabjous day, Kalua, Kaluye, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas breeding and slicey toes did gwire and grumble in a wave. All mimsy were horrors, and the mom laugh outgrave. Hi, that's it. Okay, it's going to become the end of this streaming, I think. If you have any questions or wants to leave any comments, please do so. I read that comment. Or if you like to talk with me on a clubhouse, which I'm also using it. Yep. Please join. But if not, I'll finish in 2 minutes. Okay, I'll talk about my recent thing. Yeah, first of all, I'm gonna try the crowdfunding. I'm gonna make a booklet about our 10 years of the to run the art space here. And then I have some funds of myself, and self-funded first, and also I got this funding from the Japan Cultural Ministry last year. So I'll use these funds to pay to the editor and a designer, and also, but still, that's not. I haven't got fund for the printing, so I would like to. I would be very happy if I could have some help and support from my friends all over the world. Even though all the system I use is gonna be all Japanese, but yeah, please send me any energy or some wave or whatever. I will be very happy, delighted. Yeah, that's I'm preparing, and then I received the comments from the website, the system which runs the crowdfunding website. So I have to redo some phrases and I have to add more information, whatever. So it will take a few more days to that finally I could post this crowdfunding page. But yeah, I will work on it maybe from today after this broadcast. The second news is I'm making a art online art university. That's in Japanese, but why not I do it in English too? Because yeah, probably there are a lot of information on that. But in Japan, maybe in Britain, or I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to make a profit, make it as a real business. Just working as an artist alone. Artists want to sell our artwork, but in Japan and also in Britain, which I also learned there, we never learn how to promote ourselves, how to connect to the art world or the future client or some communication PR skills. Yeah, what is it, PR? So for my online art university, I want to make some course for that, something that the art college never teach. Maybe they do in the States. I think that's why a lot more artists can survive just only the artwork alone. And they're more connected to the art buyers and then yeah, etc. But anyway, that's my yeah, one of the new projects I'm working on. And I would like to release this new online art college program by the end of August. But I think at the beginning I'll release kind of secretly as a test. So yeah, maybe a few of my friends can test it. And then after in September, I'll publish it kind of widely through my SNS, especially on Facebook. But first of all, I'll publish secret because yeah, the end of the yeah, I'm planning to finalize my crowdfunding at the end of August or 1st of September. During I'm do this the streaming. So yeah, I don't want to kind of mix up two things together. So first crowdfunding and then the online art college. Anyway, yeah, it's 11 p.m. 11:03 now in Tokyo, Japan. So it's time to finish. So bye bye. Thank you for watching. See you next week. Bye.